Hi friends, welcome back. In previous session, we have seen what are the different operators we are having. Along with that, we have already seen how the conditional statement if else later works. Now let's play with these operators over those conditional statements. I'm again taking new playground. Conditionals. The operators. What is the purpose of conditional statements? Conditional statements are important to place some condition. Based on the condition, the execution flow you can control. You can control the execution flow, we can say. If the condition is true, then only execute some portion of the code. Otherwise, it executes from line number 1 to sequentially it executes from line number 1 to line number n. But if you want to put some control, if you want to put some condition over some block of code, some lines of code, you can go for conditional statements. Let me take a equal to 20, where b equal to 30. I want to compare these two values. If a, let us play with comparison operator. Comparison operator, what are the comparison operators we are having? Double equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal, less than or equal to. Okay, I'm putting condition here a equal to b. If these two values are same, I want to execute some block of code, some lines of code. Here, I'm having only one line of code. You can have any number of lines of code. A and B are equal. I want to put one more condition here. If A not equal to B. If this condition is true, what we can display? A and B are not equal. If A less than B, if A less than B, I can print A is smaller, B is bigger. A is bigger than B. If A less than B, print A is bigger than B is bigger than A, or A is smaller than B. And we have two more operators equal to, less than or equal to. If A less than or equal to B, print A is equal to B or less than B. A greater than B. A is equal to B or greater than B. Okay, these are the various comparison statement what we are having. Okay, I'm just printing some data here. A value is so and so by using interpolation. Similarly, B value is so and so with interpolation. I'm having 34 lines of code. Out of 34 lines of code, first 9 lines of code will be executed sequentially. After that, we have some conditions. If A equal to B, if A value equal to B, then execute this statement. If A not equal to B, execute this statement. If A less than B, greater than B, execute this statement. If A less than B, execute this statement. Less than or equal to. Less than means which is actually lesser. Less than or equal to means even if it is equal to also. Actually, there are two conditions here. If A less than B, it is true. If A equal to B also, it is true. Okay. A greater than B here. Okay. 20, 30 we are having. Here actually A is lesser than B. Okay. Let's see the out statements. Okay, the output here is A value is 20, which is printed. Next, B value is 30, which is printed. A equal B. A and B are equal, which is not printed. A and B are not equal, which is printed. A and B are equal is not printed. A and B are not equal, which is printed. And A greater than B, which is 20, is greater than B 30, which is false. So it is not printed. 20 is lesser than B, which is printed. B is bigger than A. Here, 20 lesser than or equal to B, which is true. Which is true. A is equal to B or lesser than B. A greater than or equal to B, which is not printed. Which is not printed. What we can keep here is, let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see clearly what is printed, what is not printed. Okay. 2, 4, 5 are printed. 1, 3, 6 are not printed. 1, this is false actually, so it is not printed. 2, which is true. A and B are not equal, so it is printed. 2 is printed. A greater than B, which is false, so 3 is not printed. A less than B, 20 is less than 30, which is printed. A greater than or equal to B, which is 5 is printed. 6, A sorry, less than A greater than or equal to B, which is false. 6 is not printed. Okay, this is how we use comparison statements along with conditional statements. Okay, here we can also put else. You can also put else here. I can print A and B are not equal. This is how we use else statement. This is how we use else statement. Okay, if else, you need to know how exactly to use if and if else. Now I want to put logical statements, logical operators. Logical operators, we are having 3 varieties of logical operators: logical and, logical or, logical not. Okay, logical and, logical or, logical not. Let me comment this. Logical operators are used to club multiple conditions together. Here we have single condition, right? Single condition or single expression. To club multiple values, multiple expressions together as a condition, we can use logical operators. Here, let's say we're having A equal to B and A not equal to 0. There are 2 conditions. This is one condition. A is A equal to B and A not equal to 0. Okay, if these 2 conditions are met, then only this block of statements will be executed. Okay, here A equal to B, let me put 30. Now A equal to B and A not equal to 0. A not equal to 0, 30 is not equal to 0. This is true. And A equal to B, 30 equal to 30, which is also true. So whenever you are using and, all the expressions should be true. This is true and this is also true. Then only this block of statements will be executed. Okay, let me run it. See here, A and B are equal and A is non-zero. Here, this condition is true and means along with that, this condition also true, then only execute this block of statements. Let me put here 20, run it. This block of statement is not printed because whenever you are using and, all the expressions should be evaluated to true. True and true, then only this is true. Here actually 20 equal to 30, which is false. Once it is false, it will not evaluate this, because here itself it is false. Whenever you use logical OR, this is logical OR pipe symbols, two pipe symbols. Whenever you use logical OR, any one of these conditions are true, this block of statements will be executed. And means all the expressions should be evaluated to true, whereas OR means any one of the expression is evaluated to true, then it is executed. Logical NOT, what it does logical NOT? It's if a equal to 0, print a is 0. Let me put a equal, I'm just resetting the value. A is 0. Okay, this expression is actually true. Whenever you use the logical NOT, what happens is it actually invert operator, we can say. Invert operator. Invert means if the expression result is true, it turns into the false. If expression result is false, it turns into the true. Okay, here actually expression result is true, a equal to 0. But even though it is true, this block of statement will not be executed because it made the operator negation, or you can say invert operator, made the result into the false. True become false, false becomes true. Okay, there are three logical operators. Hope comparison operators are very clear. These are mathematical operators only: less than, greater than, less than, or equal to, double equal to, not equal to. Logical operator, whenever you are using logical operator, the purpose of logical operator is to combine multiple expressions or multiple conditions together. Whenever you are using logical AND, all the expressions should be true. All the expressions should be true to execute the block of statements. In case logical OR, any one of the expression, any one of the expression is true, any one of the expression is true is enough to execute the block. Okay, logical NOT just inverts the result. If it is true, it becomes false. If it is false, it becomes true. Okay, these are the three logical operators. Logical NOT, invert operator we are having under unary operator. Okay, single operation, single operand, the complete result, it turns into the false, or true becomes false, false becomes true. Okay, let me take you again through the operators. Here are the if else statements. This is the syntax, if else syntax. Okay, basically to get the control over the execution, you use the if else statement. Here logical operators, A and B. A is 20, B is 20, A is 10, B is 20. I'm checking here A greater than or equal to 10, which is true in this case, and A is less than 100, less than or equal to 100. A is between 10 and 100. This is the case. A is 10 and 100. This is true because 10 is less than, greater than or equal to 10, and 10 is less than or equal to 100, which is true. Here see, in case of AND, true plus true, it is true. In case of OR, true statement and true statement, which is true and false. In case of logical AND, if there are two conditions, one condition result is true, another condition result is false, then the entire result is false. In case of OR, in one condition is true, another condition is false, then the entire result is true only. When there is false and false, in case of AND, false and false, it is false, false or false, it is false. In case of negation, true becomes false, false becomes true. Okay, here a equal to 10, this is true, or b equal to 10. Actually, this is false. Though this is false, the entire result is true. This block of statements will be executed. Okay, a equal to 10. Actually, it is true. It is becoming false since we have kept invert operator. Okay, let us perform some more examples here. Let me comment everything. I'm having one value here where a equal to 55. I want to check where the value is between 1 to 10 or 20 to 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, like so. If a greater than or equal to 0 and a less than or less than 20, less than 10, we can say, less than or equal to 10. Okay, I can print here a is between 0 to 10. Clear? If a is not between 0 to 10, I can check another condition. If else a less than or equal to 20, sorry, 11. I'm checking between 11 and a greater than less than greater than equal, less than or equal to here 20. Print a is between 11 and 20. Similarly, I can have one more else statement here. Else if a greater than or equal to 21 and a less than or equal to 30. A is between 21 to 30. I'm putting some extra here. If a greater than or equal to 31 and a less than or equal to 50. I'm putting here 20 interval. Print a value is between 31 to 50. Here else if a greater than or equal to 51 and a less than or equal to 100. Print a is between 51 to 100. Okay, there are multiple conditions here, multiple conditions combined with logical AND operator. Okay, let's run it. A is between 55 is between 51 to 100. Let me give 105, which is not in the range. I can have one more else statement at the end. Enter. A is not between 0 to 100. That is the final value. A is not between 0 to 100. Let's say A is 13. It is between 11 to 13, 11 to 20. 13 is between 11 to 20. This is how we use logical AND operator and combination of if-else statements. If else. Okay. Here we can also have OR statement. If else if a less than 0 and A greater than 100. Now we can put what is this condition? Either A is negative value or A is over the 100, above the 100. A is either negative value or bigger than 100. Very clear. R statement we have put here. Let me put minus 13. Minus 13 is a negative value or bigger than 100. Actually, this condition is true. A is negative value. Actually, this condition is false since we are using logical R. Whenever you are using logical R in complete expression, in this complete expression, one of the condition is true. This condition is true here. True and false, right? True or false. This is true. This is false. Since we are using logical R, when any one of the condition is true, the entire block of code will be true. This is how logical R works. Okay. Here, if you see, there are a couple of if-else statements, but it is not very clear to understand. It is not very clear to understand. So that what we can do is instead of using if-else ladder, this is called if-else ladder. If else. Okay, or else ladder, what we call. Instead of using this, what we can use switch. Switch is simpler to use. Let me show you. Compound operators, which we have seen already. Control statements and switch statement we see. Switch is a conditional statement which is used to choose one choice or option among multiple options. Whenever you're having multiple options to choose, instead of using if-else statement, which you can use is switch statement you can use. To choose one among multiple options, we need to use the multiple if-else statements, which makes our life easier without using if-else ladders. Okay, like which school to choose or which phone to purchase. There are many phones in the market and there are many schools in the area, city. Like which school do you choose? It depends upon your requirement. If your requirements are matching with the so-and-so school, then you go and choose that school. Similarly, here we are having a value, right? I want to compare that between these many things. I want to compare that with these many things. Okay, let me switch statement. Switch. Okay, if you do not know the syntax, you can go here and see the syntax. Switch statement. Okay, you can simply drag it up here if you do not know. Otherwise, let me write. Switch our value. Switch contains cases. The case is 0 to first case is 0 to 10, right? Print the first case is clear here. Case 11 to 20. This is actually a range operator. The range here is 11 to 20. Yes, 21 to 30. 21 to range operator 30. Here, this is the statement. Case 31 to 50. (31 to 50). This is 31 to 50 here. Case 51 to 100. (51 to 100). This is 51 to 100. Otherwise, default case. A is not between 0 to 100. Here, this is also doing the same. Again, this is also doing the same. These two are doing the same. But this is very clear. The switch statement is very clear. We are passing a value and just matching with these cases. Let me print the result of this. Here A is 13 actually. 13 is not between 0 to 100. You can also, how do we put non-negative value? Okay, let me put this 55, which we have taken 55. 55 is not between 51 to 55 is between 51 to 100. If you put A equal to 11, 11 is between 11 and 20, 11 to 20. Here we are having one value. We are just matching that with multiple values here. If any of these values are not matching, the default case will be printed. Here, the default case is must. This is, we can say, else block. At the end, we have put else block, right? Similarly, default is final block, which is else block. If none of the above cases are matching, then the default block will be executed. Otherwise, these things will be executed. Any one of these cases will be executed. This is how we switch. This is the range operator. We see again the range operator in control statements. This is how we use switch statements instead of using if-else ladder or else-if ladders. Here, this is not much clear to understand. But here it is very clear to understand. And one more thing here is there are three things to remember. Switch cases are auto breaked. In C language, if you remember, if any one of the case is matching, the rest of the cases also executed. We used to have break statement. Once this case is matching, it should be stopped here itself. We used to use break statement in C language, but here the switch cases are auto breaked. So once this case is matching, it simply prints this and ignores the remaining. If you want to print the next statement as well, we are having something called fall through. A is 11, right? 11 means comes here. Fall through. See what happens when you use fall through. Fall through A is 11. 11 is comparing here. 11 is between 0 to 10, which is false. 11 is between 11 to 20, which is true. This is printed. Since we are using fall through, though the 11 is not falling between 21 to 30, this statement is executed. Fall through means irrespective of the case matching, the next case will be executed. Again, the next case is not executed. Okay, and default cases must. Default cases must. Default cases must in Swift statement. And fall through is important. We do not use fall through, but in interviews they will ask you whether you know fall through or not. Fall through, what is fall through? Fall through is a keyword which is used in switch statement. What it does, it executes the next case irrespective of the case matching. Here, case is matching or not, it doesn't matter. Since you are using fall through, it executes next statement, next case, irrespective of whether the case is matching or not. Clear? This is how, these are the different operators and conditional statements what we are having. Let me show you if you have any examples here. Switch statement, age is 18. We can also have single value here. Now you need not to have multiple values. You can also have single values. You can also separate them by comma also. 0, here range of values. Okay, age is 18. 18 falls here. College time. Age is 18. If age is 0, you're just born. Age is 6 to between. Age is between 6 to 15. Go to school time. That is school time. 16 to 20. 22. College time. 23, 24, 25, 26. You can also separate the values with comma. Marriage time. 27 to 60. Family responsibilities. 100. Get ready to say bye bye. If it is none of these in the sense, what is that? Above 60 to 100, above 60 to 99, you are free, but you do not have any responsibilities. It is a resting time. Using fall through statement executes next case after the matching case, irrespective of the case matching. Here age is 22, 22 falls here. If 22 is falling here, you are eligible for having liquor. You are also eligible for vote, cast your vote. Basically, fall through statement, the next statement after the fall through is depending statement. Here actually 21 to 100 is greater than 18. That is the reason. This is also possible. If you use if the person is person age is between 21 to 100, he is also eligible for 18. This kind of depending cases we put in fall through. We are putting fall through here. The next case is actually false. Actually, it is true. True in the sense the statements are true. The statements are true. So I have kept depending statements below the fall through. You can also use the range operator with the, we'll see what is this less than tomorrow. Whenever you are using control statement, even we can use characters. You can try all these things. You can also use characters, numbers. Doubles are not possible to use. Doubles are not possible to use. Okay. This is all about switch statement and operators. We're having some new operators which are introduced only specifically for Swift, like range operator and typecasting operator, another way of typecasting operator, nil coalescing operator. Those things we see. These are the additional operators which are only specifically for Swift. All these are already available in the other programming languages, if you are aware of. Thank you for watching.